Boker Tov, good morning. Today is Friday, February 25th, Erev Shabbos, Erev Shabbat, Parshat Vayakhel and Shkalim. It's the first of the four special Parshiot, the special readings that start now and will continue towards Pesach. The Mishkan, we return to the Mishkan once more. We focused attention on the Mishkan and Truma and Tetzaveh at the beginning of Kitisa, and now in Vayakhel and Pekudei, we return to the Mishkan. We return, as we've actually noted for most of the week together, that the Torah makes sure to juxtapose the rule, the Mishkan building with Shabbos, and Torah insists that you must make sure that you don't build the Mishkan on Shabbos. That's what we pointed out, and then we have a theme around that about the importance of sanctity of time over even sanctity of space. But there's another essential relationship between Mishkan and Shabbos, and it's this: that in many ways, what we are doing when we build the Mishkan is our version of creation. God created the world in 6 days and rested on the seventh, and we create a world for God. God created a world for us. We create a world for God. And we too are told that we need to rest on the seventh day, paralleling God, and that's why the acts that were necessary when God says at creation time, right, Shabbat v'yinafash, that the God rested, and we're supposed to rest like God, and we have to know what is it that we're not supposed to do. How do we make sure that we're resting from creativity? So we say, look to what was necessary to build the Mishkan, because that's our imitation of God creating, we create. And what we do is create a perfected version, not only of a space for God, but a perfected version of the world, in which people recognize the one God above and worship God, in which individuals in need, think about how the Beit HaMikdash described people who were in need of one way or the other, for need of support from other individuals would come. People who were looking to make themselves whole would come. The place where the Kohen would stand up and recite a blessing every day that ends with the word Shalom. In a perfected world, we are looking to create a space, and we imagine for people that there will be at peace. And I'm thinking about all of this, and I really was struggling. What do I talk about this morning on the heels of the Russian invasion of Ukraine and the upending of half a century or more of peace in Europe, and the undoing the end of the Cold War, returning us not to Cold War, but something warm, it seems. Chas v'sholom, it should get any warmer. And suddenly, I didn't know what to talk about, and I found myself returning to this theme and thinking about, a world that is fractured again, in which God is in certain ways driven out. God's driven out by killing and disregard for human life as indiscriminate ways of that an invasion such as this involves. And it feels much further, does it not? The sense of a perfect world seems much further from us this week than it did a few weeks back. And I don't know how to retrieve it. We are just simple folk living here, and not able to personally make a difference and to stop the events that are taking place. What we can do is to provide support in the ways that we know how. That is through our tefillot, our prayers. And if the Mishkan was anything, it's a place where those prayers to God were offered. And excuse me. And the tzedakah that we can give. It's Parshat Shkalim. It's a time to remind ourselves of what it means to contribute. And I'm going to share with you, along with this video, some of the links to the Jewish organizations that are on the ground trying to provide assistance, and specifically assistance to the very large Jewish population, Israelis that are there, and people who Ukrainian Jews who live there, and that desperately need our help. They're in our minds, on our minds, and in our hearts. All of these individuals, and we can just as we enter Shabbos, to consider and imagine what the perfected world is, and try to think about the ways in which we can do so, to make a world in which such acts of aggression will be distant from us, and will somehow be overcome. It doesn't seem close this week. We hope and we pray it can come closer to us beyond. Wishing you all a Shabbat Shalom.